Well, thank you, Jean, and good morning and welcome to our webinar, everybody who is on the webinar today. My name is Judy Feldhausen, and I'm here with my cohort in crime here, Jean LaVallie, and I'm so excited to talk about this subject today, and we're going to be hearing more and more about it with things that are going on in Synergy. um, Recruiting is going to be something that we really want to focus on. Isn't that right, Jane?
Yeah, and you know that when Judy first showed this to me, and we've done a lot of webinars on recruiting, she made it very clear to me that this is going to be a different kind of webinar than we normally do, and I was kind of intrigued by that. But by the time that we got through our run through of the webinar, it really is different, and it really makes a big difference in our lives and in our businesses of what our mindset is. And Judy has done a really great job of spelling that out for us. So I hope that you guys are as excited about learning today and really getting into the mindset that Judy's talking about for your businesses, because it's going to make all the difference.
Yeah, and we're also going to talk about why it's important to be there and kind of how to get in the groove, how to get into that mindset. So we're not going to actually talk about the hows and whys and the different ways you can make money in this business. That's not what this webinar is. This webinar is about getting to the part where you prepare to talk to someone about the business. So it's all about how you think and how you perceive and what you're looking for. So let's go on to the next slide here. And we all know that customers are important in this business. It really is. It's what this business is about. We wouldn't have a business if it wasn't for our customers and the great product and helping people improve their lives and improve their health. It's so, so important. It is a great place to look for people that might want more, that we've heard from Dan a lot. He gets his clients, from various means, but after they become a wonderful client, then they ask him about the business. It's just a natural progression. So, I don't want to make that less of what we're going to talk about today. It is part of it, but there is a lot more about how to be in a recruiting mindset than just wait for a customer to ask us. We kind of have to change our stance and look at it a different way and think about it a different way.
Yeah, Judy, sometimes that's a hard, and Bob has talked about this a few times where he, had customers that he kind of talked into becoming distributors, and he wishes that he hadn't done that, and now he realizes the power of what customers can do for a business. I mean, Dan says it all the time, that without customers you really don't have a business. So customers are the backbone. I love this illustration that you put up too, because it really just shows that if you're going to be able to stand on your own, you're going to have customers. And yesterday I had an experience with a woman that is very interested in the business, but after we sat and talked for a while, I didn't talk her out of it, but she said to me, "What would you do? I want to be a customer, but I'm also looking at the business." I said, "Well, it's very simple. If you buy a Jumbo Plus One, that automatically takes care of your distributorship, but you have to decide whether this is something that you really want to start talking about right away, or whether you want to see what your results are, because I know she's having some health issues." And she said, "You know what? I think I want to wait. I think I want to see how I do, see how my husband does." Her husband just had heart surgery, and all she kept saying to me the whole time that she was sitting there, she's like, "I'm just so tired all the time." And she's younger than me. And she just, don't know where you get your energy. And all I just kept doing was I brought some samples to give her. That this is really what it is. This is really what it is. And I have testimonial after testimonial. And she said, "Well, let me see for myself." And I said, "Okay." And honestly, those are either the die-hard customers or the die-hard I think everybody on this call and this webinar has seen amazing results from Synergy's products, and that's why you're here. I don't think a lot of people just joined just because of the business opportunity, even though it is a fantabulous business opportunity.
That is so true. And let me add to that a lot of people join a business opportunity and then fall in love with the product. So we need to have the open mind to allow that to happen, because it is so important to get into this recruiting mindset. If you want to go to the next screen, Jean, it's our responsibility to share this business with other people. You know, it's going to help them improve their life. And as a customer, will you improve your life? Absolutely. But how many customers do you know use all the product line? How many distributors on this call use all the product line, or at 80% of it? When we become a product of the product, when we love Proarginine and we learn about Mystica and Essential Greens and D3 and CoQ10, we start using those other products. So it's a bigger place to play as a distributor and helping us learn about our lives, because we have these webinars, we have training, you learn about health. And you know, I would love to see us include more customers on some of this, so we can allow that too. But you know, that's it's an important part of being able to share the business, is helping other people learn more about themselves and about their health.
Yeah, you know, Judy, that's 100% true for me, that my life has changed dramatically since, I mean, there was a lot of changes anyway, you know, it became an empty nester and that, but just getting out of the house and getting out of my comfort zone and just really growing as a person, and really I owe so much of that to Synergy. I love this last bullet point that you have, though. One of my dreams has always been for Synergy to become a name like, I don't know, big names that you think of. What am I thinking? Shackley or
Amway.
And really we're at the threshold of that. We're at the threshold of Synergy really exploding in the United States. I mean, we are exploding all over the world, and we just need to find that niche in the United States of people who really want to take care of their health and just stop managing our diseases. It's really turning bad that we're managing our diseases and we're really not getting well. We're getting sicker and sicker. Maybe we're not feeling all the symptoms, but we're getting sicker and sicker and more tired and more lethargic, and we need to reverse that trend. I mean, not just for us, but really for our whole country. We need people out there that are working and have energy.
Right, and in order to do that, we need a lot more people, a lot more team members to spread the word, because as hard as you work, you cannot reach everybody. And even if you tried, you could not. It just isn't possible. So we need to have our neighbors and our friends and our relatives and strangers that we meet to share this message with more and more people. And I wanted to also talk about working hard, because I know so many people on this webinar work so hard, and you know, we fall into bed at the end of the day very happy that we've done a good job, but sometimes so extremely tired. And having other people on your team working with you makes it so much easier, not just mentally easier and having that support, but if you have 100 people on your team doing a little bit, it's so much easier for you than for you to do 100% of everything. So we need to share the responsibility also.
And, you know, it's share the wealth, too. I think that's one of the things, you know, so much of the time network marketing gets such a bad rap because you have met those people that are in your face and aren't going to let you go and, you know, are making all kinds of wild claims. If everybody just, Bob said this from the very beginning when I first started with Synergies, is what if you were just making an extra $200 to $300 a month, really just collecting that check? And really that's what it comes down to, is sharing this product. And then when other people think that maybe making a couple $100 a month, or depending on how hard you want to work, more, that's where you can, as you have in this bullet point, leverage your income with people that you are helping become successful. You're helping them, and I think that's really part of the mindset too, is really helping others with more than just their health, but with just having a more income. Really, the bottom line is more income.
Exactly. And so let's take a look next at really what are the trends of network marketing, because a lot of times as I'm going around talking to people, they say, well, network marketing is just this little tiny thing, and you know, there's only people involved that are either shady or, you know, really don't work, or, you know, it's not really a business. I don't know if any of you have ever heard those comments, but I went on. Okay, yeah. So I went onto the Direct Selling Association's website, and any good company is a member of the Direct Selling Association. Any direct selling or network marketing company are members, and Direct Selling Association creates the guidelines and looks at the trends and does all of that information. In fact, I believe Greg Probert, I don't know if he is right now, but I know he was the president of the Direct Selling Association, and Greg Probert is the president of Synergy Worldwide. But, you know, looking at some of these statistics, Jean, which one, and for anybody else too, which one of these statistics that you see on the screen here was a surprise to you?
Oh, the one, I mean, you and I talked about it, I think yesterday or the day before. 1 in 6 U.S. households are involved in direct selling. That is surprising to me. I know that network marketing is 100% moving forward, and it's getting much more legit, and more people are getting really what it's all about. But that was a little bit higher than I thought it would be. So if I look down my street, 1 out of every 6 of these houses, someone is a network marketer, and people are starting to really get it. And that was the one that it was surprising, but it also was really exciting for me too.
Absolutely. Anybody else? Is there any other statistic here that that you were surprised or really happy to hear about?
Well, I see. This is David. Good. Go ahead, Tammy.
I agree with Jean. I wasn't aware that 1 in 6 households are involved in direct selling, so that's me too.
Great, thanks, Tammy. How about you, David?
I see that it's a growing industry, Judy. Basically, I see that $36.12 billion industry. That's amazing, and it shows that at least in this bullet point number 2, 4.8 increase from 2014, and I think that's a welcoming surprise, and it makes sense, because the people are getting tired of the 9 to 5 and being and not being treated fairly in the work environment, and they're looking for a way to possibly get out of that and do something else to supplement their income. So that's a nice thing to see.
Absolutely. Any other comments about the national trends of network marketing?
Well, Judy, this is Bob. Can you hear me all right?
Absolutely, Bob.
I think the one thing that jumped out at me the most when this came onto the screen, like David, is the $36.12 billion number. That's an enormous amount of money. That's huge. And you know, 1 in 6 households. That's remarkable as well. But it's at the size of that number. You know, I was surprised, quite frankly. So thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. So these are the trends. So you're not alone in being in this type of business. And I bet that Probably 70 to 80% of the people on the phone buy other network marketing products from another company, that something you can't get from Synergy, but is available, and you prefer to work with a network marketer, with someone that knows their product, stands by their product, and knows you and your needs, rather than walking into some type of store and picking something off the shelf where you don't know anything about that company, that that manufacturing process, or the belief in that company. So if you use other network marketing products, if you could do me a favor and in the chat book, just say yes, just so we can kind of take an informal poll here of, you know, what goes on in our small team. So we do have some yeses here. Yeah, look at this. Already, I think about half the people on this call are saying yes. That's, you know, that makes it so real, and that network marketing isn't just a trend, it really is here to stay. So why don't we go on to the next screen here, Jean? And how do you get in the groove? How do you actually get in that mindset when you are talking to people? What kind of thoughts do you need to have? What kind of things do you need to hear to see if it's worth even going further in the conversation, or being able to let people know that there is a business attached to what you do? Because just because you're in Synergy Worldwide doesn't mean that the people you meet know there's an opportunity to be a part of a business. They may think that it's a company that is a standard brick and mortar company, that, you know, you are a salesperson for the company. They don't know. You have to teach them. And so in the conversations that I have, these are some of the things that people tell me that they're looking for, or that they need, not necessarily for a business, but in their lives. And so when they're talking about being maybe a stay-at-home mom and being overwhelmed and doing nothing but change diapers and clean and cook, and need something else in their life, that's a light bulb for me. That's something for them to do. Or if you talk to... Go ahead.
Judy, I just want to say really quick, it has to be, you and I talked about this when we were going through the slides. You're looking for a high energy person then, because I know women that are exhausted from taking care of their families that won't even look at doing something else because they're so tired all the time. That's not the same type of deal of what you're talking about. Those people will benefit from the products. But absolutely, somebody who's looking for something to do that is high energy, and I'll tell you that the successful network marketers are high energy. So when you come across somebody like that, that's what I was talking about at the beginning of this webinar, is Judy has really spelled out, you know, we're not out actively recruiting, but it's always in the back of your mind. These points that she's giving us right now are always in the back of your mind when you're having a conversation, right, Judy?
That's exactly it. And that's what we're talking about as being in the recruiting mindset. It's just being able to have those thoughts. And for people that say, you know, I just love to volunteer my time, I just love to help other people, I'm a giver, you know, I want to make the world a better place. That's another light bulb. That's another possibility. That is the possibility of taking that conversation further. That doesn't mean you're going to recruit the person. It's just the mindset that you want to be in to look at different avenues. And then tax benefits. This time of the year, actually September through December, is the best time to recruit in network marketing, because people are looking for ways to lower their income taxes. And You know, the average, I believe the industry average is people can save up to $6,000 on their taxes by having a small home-based business. So that's what network marketing is. It is a home-based business, and it is, you can take all the home-based business tax advantages of any home-based business as a network marketer.
Yeah, and this is a big one, especially if you're, just working from, like I am right now, working from my den, to be able to have those tax write-offs of this is my business. You think if I left the house and went to a building, that you would have those tax benefits. These are legitimate tax benefits, and everybody on this call absolutely should be looking into that and talking to your accountant about those benefits.
Yes. And of course, we know being able to improve individuals' own health and the health of their families and getting that free training, it's, that's almost a no-brainer.
Yeah.
When people want more than what they're just getting as a customer.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Jean, you had mentioned before, sometimes in an extra $200 or $300 a month, that's going to change someone's entire financial status in some cases. They said that during the recruiting, an extra $300 a month would have saved 80% of the homes from going into foreclosure. Yeah.
Wow. Bob has a really great story about that, because sometimes we take for granted when somebody orders a jumbo or somebody, we get a new customer, things like that. It's, especially when we get down on ourselves, it's like, oh boy, another customer, but, I'm not making $1 million. I'm not in presidential yet. But I don't know, Bob, are you able to unmute yourself and tell the story about your son?
Yeah, I'd be glad to. Well, I was thinking about one of my boys when he was going to college was working at a sporting goods store. He's a rugby player, a college-level rugby player, tough as could be. He's in the military. But he had this little job, and he'd have to get up and shower up and change clothes and drive to work, and he had to work 6 hours at the sporting goods store to earn what we can make selling one jumbo. 6 hours of his time plus travel, etc., to make the same as what we make, because he only made $8 an hour or something like that. But that's kind of a stark reality, I think. When you stop and think about it. I looked at Bonnie the other day and I said, I've already made $85 this morning with my Synergy business, and I haven't done anything yet. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and then for other people that really are tired of maybe the 9 to 5, they want to be self-employed, they want to be able to grow into an income and not just leave what they have and start from zero, but to replace what they're doing. I've talked to a lot of people that say, I'm working full-time until I hit X amount, and then that job is gone, and I'll be able to focus full-time on my network marketing business.
And then you've got a great story. Jim Rohn always talks about his story, and he told everybody that he's got a part-time job that he's making the same in his part-time job as he is in his full-time job, and people would say, tell me more about that. And I know, David, this is something that is near and dear to your heart, and I know that that's one of your goals coming from a corporate job. Do you want to comment on replacing income?
Yes, absolutely. In my corporate world, it was more, as I jokingly say sometimes, it was more of a pyramid for me than what people claim that the multi-level marketing companies are pyramids. In the corporate world, you work hard and then you try to advance, yet it happened to me on a couple of occasions where I was asked, what do I want to be in 5 years in the operations department? I remember that very well. I was a junior supervisor, and I was asked by one of our senior managers, and I looked right at him and I said, well, I'd like to be in your chair. I want to do what's your job, he was a bit offended. So, you know, within 3 months, I was out of that department. And of course,
Bad answer, Dave.
well, in my career in business, I changed careers 3 times. I was in operations, and I was in technology, and I wound up in financial services. And it happened because of that, because it's a pyramid. The higher you go, the tighter it gets, the more competitive. So I was definitely looking to replace my income, and I was fortunate enough 5 years ago to run into Dan Hammer and look at the opportunity. I'm at the point now where my income is indeed, you know, I could see it. It's gonna be replacing far more than I earned in the corporate world. So it's exciting, and it's something we work on, and certainly a lot more liberating than it is working in 4 walls and making somebody else rich.
Well, we're all very thankful that Dan Dan had the right mindset when he came to see you, and actually did share the opportunity with you, because it's been a crazy ride, hasn't it, David?
It has, and it's a unique business opportunity because, as you know, as I was the business manager at the time Dan walked in, and he, I was bracing myself because our business is unique. I was bracing myself because I had opened many accounts for other network marketing companies, Tupperware, Herbalife, OmniLife, Mary Kay, Amway, you name it. And of course, at the end of the process of opening the account, of course, they wanted to give me a free sample and recruit me. And I was bracing myself, and Dan came in, and he was very conservative. He just wanted to open the account, and it was me that started asking him the questions. And of course, like anything else, I thought it was just like the others, and it wasn't. Of course, and when I investigated the company, the product, and the people, which is so important, you've got to do your research. I saw that there was a real business and a real opportunity, and you know the rest of the story. I tried it with my family. I feel it saved my dad's life, and it certainly helped me. So when we talk to people, we feel so confident of looking at them in the eye and saying, you know, you could try to buy other products, but if you want a solution, this is what we have to offer. And it's such a good feeling. So the business is real, the opportunity is real, and it's certainly exciting sharing it with others. And when you do it that way, it comes through, and eventually, as you said earlier, Gene, people will see the reality, and all of a sudden they're asking you about the business, and just like I asked Dan. So it's a unique place to be at this point in time with the company, so it's going to be fun recruiting in 2017.
Yes, it is. Yes, I agree with you. Sorry, Judy. We kind of got into our own little webinar there.
No, absolutely. I love it. I love it. And it is so true. And, you know, it's interesting. And, you know, we don't have a lot of time on this webinar, so we can't open up a whole, you know, that whole can of worms. But I would believe in my mind and in my heart that Dan didn't ask you, but that doesn't mean that Dan wasn't in the recruiting mindset, that he didn't think about how great you would be, and he was able to ask questions that got you thinking and got you then asking questions. And, you know, it would be great to be a fly on the wall for that conversation to see how.
I feel like I kind of was. I feel like I kind of was, because I remember talking to Dan about this banker that is interested in synergy. And I was like, gosh, Dan, that's awesome. So that, you know, of course, then it evolved that David did come on board, and I'm happy that you did, David.
Thank you. Me too.
Absolutely. So these are some of the hints of what you might be wanting to listen for to get into that recruiting mindset. I recently did a video on the 5 magnificent reasons to join network marketing. You might want to go to YouTube and take a look at that video, and you know, help you get into this recruiting mindset, so that when you're having conversations, you don't need to have recruiting conversations. What you need to have is real conversations. and really learn about people and their lives and their needs and see if they talk about things like this. And then you know that it might be time to go and to the next step. That doesn't mean you're going to recruit them. That means it's a process and you want to continue on the journey of recruiting. So when we're looking at getting in the groove, there are some questions that you may want to ask. And the next slide just shows just some sample questions that, and I don't even know where I got these. They may be from Eric Worre that I pulled from one of the things that I got from him. But these are some questions that you may want to use to investigate. And this doesn't mean that you go into an interview right now at this time. That's not what this is about. It's about changing your mindset.
And I like that. What level of interest do you have? It gives you such a clear idea of really where people are at. And I think it makes people at ease because you're asking them, where do you see yourself in this? And then, somebody says, I want to replace my income in a year. And you're like, dude, you got to go to work. But if somebody says, you know what, if I could just have this in my back pocket and just share it with people and, maybe hopefully make some money, then you know where their level of interest is too. So Judy, I know that you have many people that you've recruited that are all different levels of interest. And I think that's my big go-to question now is what level of interest do you have? And quite honestly, like Bob, if somebody just wants to be a customer, then just leave them as a happy customer, especially if their interest level is just at that point. It might change, but that's, to me, one of the most important questions. Which one is the most important to you, Judy?
Which one is the most important? Well, I always like to find out what people like and really what their joys are, because if I can find something that is going to ignite them in our business, then I'm going to use that later. It gives me some ammunition to talk to them about, you said that you liked meeting people. Well, this is the perfect business. You said that you wanted to improve your health. This is the perfect business. You said that you wanted to make money. This is the perfect business. But it's almost like when I talk to people, if I can find out about them and connect with them, I feel like they drop nuggets into what they like, and I can find that in synergy if I can. And if I can't, I know, if they say, I love beating people up and fighting, I'm going to probably say, well, I don't think this is the business that, it would be for you.
Yeah, definitely not.
Can I say one more thing, Judy?
Yes, David.
Yes, I just want to say that for the benefit of all those that are interested in recruiting, these questions are fantastic, and I think these questions are in response to a trigger that they had that they asked you a question. So that's where you would, or maybe something that what I see is disturb. I like the term disturb and intrigue, because that's what Dan did to me when he first met me. He told me that the reason he was doing it is because obviously the product helped his wife so much, and it really helped regulate her high blood pressure, and that disturbed me. That told me, wow, in the back of my mind, I wonder if this could help my dad. So without really selling me on the idea of recruiting me, he disturbed me enough where then I started asking questions. And that's a technique that I think is great. So I'm sure it's for another webinar, but it's certain that disturb and intrigue to prompt those questions is just a tool we can always use to encourage questions that they can ask us.
Exactly. Thank you so much for saying that. Absolutely, David. So from here, you may or may want to go ahead and start looking at setting up a time to do some more investigation, maybe to have a cup of coffee to find out more about them. If they do want to hear about the business, you have to be prepared to interview them. And if you want to change the slides, Jean, that is something that we are going to do to create a simple interview. You have to know this business. You have to know how to make money, because if someone's asking, we need to be able to answer that questions, or we need to be able to get someone on the phone with them, or do some type of three-way, either face-to-face or webinar or whatever, to get those questions answered. So we're going to be in the future going to be able to talk about some simple dynamic interview techniques and teach ways to explain the plan, our comp plan, without making it so cumbersome. And I've got a couple new people on the team that just they just are saying, there's so much to this, I just don't understand it. Can't you simplify it for me? So that's next. And we have to continue to improve our skills, to be able to learn how to ask better questions, and to think about possibilities and think about different ways to look at our business and get into that recruiting mindset.
Yeah, Judy, I really love this webinar, and I love that you say in this last slide to create a simple dynamic interview. It is so important for us to realize that when we are talking to someone, especially when they say they're interested in the business, you are really doing an interview. And this is a person that you're going to be working intimately with for at least the first couple of months of your business, probably beyond that, especially if they stay engaged. So if there's somebody that just has a different work style than you, or isn't as motivated for the plans that they have, I think it's really important for us to keep all that top of mind and really treat that area of time as an interview.
Absolutely. So I want to thank everybody for being on today and for listening to our thoughts and ideas about getting into the recruiting mindset. And if anybody has any questions, we can open it up for questions.